Hi there, so why are you here today?
Because I'm against the war and I don't like everything that's happening right now. I want peace. I want friendship with our countries, and I just hate everything that's happening right now.
I came here to stay with Ukraine because this situation was going. This is totally unacceptable in this time, and thousands of people gonna die, maybe more. So we want to push whole world to do something with this.
What brings you over here tonight?
Well, it was kind of like just seeing the news and seeing how quickly everything was going. I think it was like I remember seeing something about this maybe a week ago, like, oh, this is a bit worrying, and then kind of the speed of it, I thought, when's it going to stop, but it didn't. So for that, I kind of decided, it's worth showing up today.
I went here today to demonstrate my solidarity with the Ukrainian people in their fight against the Russian invaders. Also to send a signal to Boris Johnson and other leaders that it is time to impose harsh sanctions on Russia, because this invasion of Ukraine can certainly not be left unanswered by the West.
Okay, and where are you from?
I'm from Germany.
What country are you from?
From Russia.
From Russia. Okay, and what are you doing in UK?
I live here
Live here.
and work here, yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ukraine, from Kiev.
From Ukraine. And what are you doing in the UK?
I'm working.
I'm from Ukraine.
From Ukraine. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing in UK?
UK, I'm working in UK like 8 years already.
8 years.
All my family is at home. Yeah, it's
In Ukraine.
Yeah.
Where are you from? You said?
I'm from Australia.
Australia. All right.
Yes.
And do you have any friends, relatives that's Ukrainian, Russian?
I have some friends, Veronica, and some of my other friends are Ukrainian, but not too many of them are here.
Coming to the actual questions on the street, what do you think is the likely outcome of this conflict?
Hard to say anything right now.
I have no idea, and I'm really scared what's gonna happen next.
Most likely there won't be like long-term war. On my opinion, they will start this negotiate something by then, but hopefully Russia will get big damage for Russian economy or Russian people.
We can all pray that it's going to de-escalate. De-escalation would be the ultimate goal, and likely I think lines might be crossed further, but again, hopefully depending on the response of both the UK and just generally around Europe and even the world.
What do you think is the likely outcome for this sort of crisis in Ukraine, in your opinion?
Actually, I have no clue. So yesterday I couldn't imagine that there would be a full-scale invasion, and last night it happened. So
Whatever can happen, literally.
yeah, I mean we do live in unpredictable times.
I believe that NATO will step in for Ukraine and kick Russia back to their original borders, including the Crimea and Donbas region.
Do you think other countries should get involved militarily in this sort of conflict and similar conflicts around the world?
Yeah, they should, because I think this is not just the war Russia versus Ukraine. This is war Putin versus Western, the whole democracy, like Western democracy.
Well, yeah, we should send them weapons, but I don't think that Western soldiers and Russian soldiers are going to shoot at each other at any point. So, I mean, we have Russia and the United States, and France and the UK that are nuclear powers, and I think nobody is motivated to have two nuclear powers being confronted. But material support is I think what we are going to send them and what we should send them.
What do you think the European and the USA government will do to protect Ukraine?
That's a tricky question, because I don't know. I just the news are terrifying, so I don't know. They're talking about lots of sanctions, and I'm really scared that just the lives of normal people will be much worse than they were before, and that's not fair.
As we can clearly see, sanctions don't really do much, because Russia just tries to go away from Western economy to their own stashes of gold, I don't know. But in terms of military, I really hope that NATO will review their policies for accepting countries, and this will help us to gain more things to actually fight back Russia. I only think that Putin understands only force. That's why.
Of course, there's a sanction, against the Russian economy, and we are not expecting to give some troops to Ukraine, but at least they can send us better weapons to give us chance to protect against the Russian.
Have you heard about any sanctions that UK is imposing on Russia?
We've just read the news. Yeah.
What do you think about them?
Yeah, I guess I'm not coming to Russia anytime soon. My biggest fear is that sanctions usually make people suffer.
Do you think that the European and US response at the moment is proportional to what's happening? Or do you think they should
No. I think they are really underwhelming.
I do think that their action does need to be taken, considering how adamant Putin seems to be on the kind of this forward momentum motion going into Ukraine. Like, I was watching some of his speeches, and he seems so adamant on it. It's kind of it's quite scary, to be honest.
It's like he's out of his mind.
Yeah, a little.
Like a world domination.
Yeah, a little. It's a little frightening, to be honest.
Do you think that European government and USA are doing sufficient support to Ukraine to stop Putin?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think the West should support Ukraine militarily. We can't really do anything against Russia apart from imposing economic sanctions. I think this is the way to go.
Do you think that Russia can go after its other neighbors like Latvia, Estonia, Moldavia?
That's gonna be really stupid. I think they can try to do that with Moldova because they already did that. Basically, they have the Pridnestrovia region there, but I don't really think they will move further.
I can't comment because I didn't vote for that, and I just want peace. I don't want to be an enemy of anybody.
It's an unfortunate possibility that I think that could be the case. It was almost quite comical the way that he just said, yeah, we're going to invade Ukraine now, and then everyone was like, that's a bit weird, and then he did it. And then that was, I think, the thing that kind of was quite strange, almost how casual it was.
Yeah.
And I think if he's doing that with Ukraine, then it wouldn't surprise me that if left kind of alone, he would go in further to other countries.
Well, Moldova, I mean, they are already more or less occupying a part of Moldova, Transnistria. Well, about the Baltics, they are part of the EU and they are part of NATO. So as soon as Putin invades them, he attacks France, he attacks Germany, he attacks the United States. So this would be an incredibly, disastrous move.
Do you think the Russian population is doing much to prevent this, or they're kind of just going along with it?
That's a tricky question. So personally, I think that they kind of should have done the same thing that Ukrainians did on the Maidan, that Kazakh people tried to do with Nazarbayev regime. It was quite violent, but I think otherwise they're just gonna be beaten and put into Aftersak, and that's it. So you have to be I wouldn't say more cruel, but probably have more people willing to fight.
Why do you think Russian people are not protesting as much about what's happening?
They are protesting.
Really?
Yes, if you see the news from Moscow, there are lots of people on the streets right now.
Do you think it's likely that Russia will take over Ukraine in general and then will bargain with the USA and Europe to reduce all the sanctions in exchange to give the land back?
To be honest, I just want to be everything over. I don't want to countries fight over lands and territories and resources.
No, it's not really likely. They may take part of Ukraine, but I don't believe the Ukrainian people will let them do that.
I don't think that we'll be able to take it because they have to pay high price for this. Because they'll be very different, back in 2014, because Ukraine didn't have an army. Some part of people were supporting the Russian army, but now no, everyone in Ukraine, almost everyone, are against the Russians. So no one will give up and just give it with the peace. Everyone in Ukraine will be fight against this thing.
Do you think that Ukrainians might also be tired of all of this situation and Russia will just take everything over and they'll be like, guys, if you want to stay, you can stay, or if you want to leave, you can leave. And some Ukrainians will just whatever, I might as well stay as part of Russia, and just to make this all go away for the sake of the children, of the family,
Don't think so. I believe we'll go this. Not majority of people will move.
Not the majority. Okay,
No,
cool.
definitely.
I appreciate it. Do you think Russia can change only with violence at this point, in terms of the Russian people have to rise up and overthrow the government, or there is a peaceful way to change the power?
I think not really, But at the current state, since like you cannot get the changes from the government, they don't let people to the government. I think there should be a revolution. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Or Putin should basically die by himself, and then they're going to be the thing that is now in Ukraine with like multiple clans fighting for.
So it will destabilize the
Yeah,
system, and
yeah.
then whoever wins.
Yeah, and then
will
they
clean
got
it up.
yeah.
Don't think so. The Russian politics they are ready to give the power to someone else. I think there will be some kind of revolution in Russia. Just in this case,
So
probably.
violence is the only option so far.
Yeah.
If any solution that can evade violence is possible, that should be the road taken. As to how the Russian people should or could respond, from what I'm aware in terms of the situation in Russia, I think the general movement of the masses is what can really make a difference. Kind of the people like here, for example.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't think that in the current situation the Russians could change their leadership by adhering to standards within the Russian state. I think the Russians should have their very own Maidan, and I doubt that real political change is going to come to Russia by any other means, unfortunately.
Do you think sanction will be sufficient to stop Putin or deter him from invading further?
Well, I'm not sure. If only I knew. So Putin не справедливый, as they say, I guess. Yeah, as I said, the situation is really unpredictable.
In case the Russian people will understand what's going on, and they'll go outside and they'll talking what happens if they're against this war, Russian people probably will be under the minimum wage, be able just to buy the food in the future. Yeah, I hope so. This will push them to go out and stop this war, because I don't think the sanction will affect Putin for some kind of to change his mind now.
Do you think Russian people have it in them to change it? Because they've been in this for like 30 years,
Yes.
and they're literally not doing anything
Yeah.
to prevent it.
Yeah, I think this is because of the Russian TV. Yeah, I think now the young people, we are over 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
They are understanding more. They're getting better information. So hopefully, in future the part which are supporting West, all the civilization world will be more, and government in Russia will be changed.
Who do you think made Putin so powerful that he can literally take over a country in a day and no one is doing anything?
Okay, that's interesting.
Putin is responsible for that. I don't know.
I think it's more like question why nothing happens to Donbas situation like for like 8 years. And Crimea. Maybe because Western countries just don't see it as the biggest threat to them as long as it doesn't move. But now it moves, and then they suddenly started realizing that they're gonna come for them. And like they're gonna deploy like rockets in, I don't know.
Well, who made Putin powerful? I mean, Russia has a very strong army, but I think a major mistake the West did is basically watch the Russian troops concentrating along the Ukrainian border, and this has been going on for months, and people speculated that this is a bluff, that Putin is not actually going to invade, and now unfortunately we have seen that we've been too naive, and we underestimated Putin. So yeah, I think this really was a grave historical mistake by the West to not really take the Russian actions there seriously. Putin and the Russian governing elite has to suffer for what they did.
Ворожі кайдани розірвемо.